Hello everyone, welcome to the YouTube channel of Swaminarayan Physiotherapy College, Rani, Ahmedabad. I am Dr. Mahima Raval, working as a lecturer at SSPC, and today we will continue with the another terminology of the gait that is called as the RLA. Now moving towards the second terminology of your gait, that is your RLA terminology, that is the Ranchos Los Amigos method of your gait. So the first phase, that is similar to your heel strike of your traditional method, that is the initial contact. So in the initial contact, the name it suggests when your foot that will comes in contact with the ground, okay, that is called as the initial contact. So normally the heel pointed first to contact, that is called as the initial contact. Second phase, that is the loading response. So what do you mean by the loading response? So it begins just after the initial contact, when the body weight is being transferred onto the leg and entire foot makes contact with the ground. So here in this figure you can see the pink limb, okay, that is highlighted limb, in that your body weight that is transferred onto the leg and entire foot that is making in contact with the ground, that is called as the loading response. That is same with your foot flat of your traditional terminology. Third one, that is the mid stance position. It begins after opposite foot leaves the ground and ends with the body is directly over the weight bearing limb, okay. So your opposite foot that will leaves the ground, but your another limb that is into the weight bearing position, okay. So that is called as the mid stance. Then the terminal stance. So terminal stance, that is same as the heel off of your traditional method, okay. So in that it begins as the heel of the weight bearing leg that is rises. So your heel that will rises from the ground, okay, and it will ends at the initial contact of the opposite foot. So here in this figure you can see your right limb is into the heel of position and the left limb that is into the initial contact position. So that is your terminal stance when the body has moved in front of the weight bearing leg. Another, that is the pre-swing. So pre-swing, that is same with your toe off. So it begins when the initial contact and weight shifted onto the opposite leg and ends just before the toes of the weight bearing leg that leaves the ground. So here you in this figure you can see your toes that leaves the ground, okay. So that is your pre-swing phase. Then the initial swing. So initial swing, that is similar to your acceleration according to your traditional method, okay. So it begins when the foot toes leaves the ground and ends the swing foot is opposite the weight bearing foot and the knees into the maximum flexion. So here in this figure you can see the knees that will remain into the maximum flexion and the your swing phase that will start from the initial swing. Then the mid swing. So mid swing, it begins when the swing foot is opposite the weight bearing foot and ends the swing leg has moved in front of the body and the tibia is into the vertical position. So here in this figure you can see this pink limb, okay, that is moves forward into the swing phase, okay, and move forward in front of your body and your tibia that will remain into the vertical position, that is called as the mid swing. And the last, that is the terminal swing, that is similar to your deceleration of the traditional phase, in that it begins when the tibia is into the vertical position and ends just prior to the initial contact. So after the terminal swing, the new gait cycle that will initiated from the initial contact. Okay, and here you can see the pink limb that is in front of your body, your tibia that is into the vertical position and ends just prior to the initial contact. So that phase that will just ends before to your initial contact, so that is called as the terminal swing. So this is about the terminologies of the gait cycle. We have covered the traditional method and we have covered the RLA method. Hope you all liked it. Thank you so much for attending.